Good to see you.
I was like,
Okay, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'll get everybody's attention. Okay, everybody out there in the virtual land, we apologize. We got off a little bit of a late start. We're ready to go, and hopefully y'all are seeing us and hearing us loud and clear. So welcome to everybody here. We do have a small group of people here in the state office for this reception. And then, of course, I'm not sure how many we have out there across the state and really across so with. So Curtis, once again, you're finding new ways to be innovative in terms of
I take all credit.
It was your idea to have a pandemic, right? Well, we obviously wish we could have had a bigger event and invited more people, but we all know the situation we're in. But with the challenge comes opportunity. So Curtis has kind of done things a little differently. He's been able to visit, meet with folks around the state, and he's got a lot out of that. Really enjoyed it. So it's working out pretty good, right, Curtis?
Oh, it's worked out wonderful. Wouldn't change a thing.
This is the final event of his farewell tour. So, but just one thing, I know really the only person I think we might want to introduce Curtis is your son. I wanted to introduce him before we kind of go any further.
Okay. Everybody, this is my son, Michael. Most of the family is kind of in good come. I still got a daughter and 2 grandkids in Germany, and my mother, 95, with my sister and everything, can't really make the trip down. So, but Michael's in Atlanta now, and he's able to make it today, and I'm glad to be here for sure.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, glad you can make it. So I guess, Curtis, I'm just going to go ahead and say, it's been a pleasure working with you closely. Really, we worked together, I guess, 10 or 11 years, but we've worked 2 doors down from each other for about the last 7.5 years. And it's been great. I've really immensely enjoyed working with you. A few things to say that I've observed, you're an excellent problem solver. It's one of the things I've admired about you. Another thing that I've admired about you and do admire about you is you see the positive, but most people can't. You also see the positive and the best in people when most people can't. And those are things that I personally try to emulate. And I'm sure others have recognized that as well. And those are traits that really come natural to you. And I really admire that about you. Just wanted to kind of go ahead and get that out there for now. Maybe I'll have some more comments later on because I know you're going to be around a few more days. I think I've even asked myself when presented with a difficult situation or whatnot, what would Curtis do? That could be a bumper sticker. And very thoughtful, and again, find ways to see the good in all types of situations and in people, and that's a very endearing trait. So before I turn it over to the commissioner, I guess the last thing for me to say to you is goodbye tension, hello pension. But with that said, our commissioner, Jane Elizabeth Birdshaw, has a few things that she's going to present to Curtis, and I'll turn it over to her.
Good afternoon. Sorry we were holding up progress. We were in the process of trying to figure out who's going to take Curtis's place this morning. We've been busy. But Curtis, I've talked to you at several of your stops in the farewell tour. One of those was with our ADRS board. where you received your plaque from Governor Ivy. But I get the honor of plaquing you out with the final plaque from the department. I'm glad that your son could join us. We've heard about you, Michael, your entire life. So it's glad to finally meet you. And your dad and I were in leadership training together years ago. Finished in 2000. So we've been through thick and thin together. And I'm glad to see James is here with his new haircut. Everybody that I've seen that retired lately comes back and they look even better than when they left. I'm like, what is going on? And I know there's a lot of representatives here from AIDB. And so, of course, we're going to have Dr. Massey come up and say a few words as well. We just appreciate your partnership through the years. And Dr. Massey and Josh were part of our interview team this morning. So we just appreciate all of your continued work with us. Curtis, I'll say it again for the folks in this room and across the state who haven't heard me say this, but losing you is like losing a brother. I truly feel that way. I have two brothers. We argue just like me and my other two brothers, but we make up and we get things done, just like my first siblings. So you really are a breath of fresh air on days where I get really frustrated about some things and just need to talk through the big picture of why we're here, remind me why we're here, what we're doing. So I appreciate you for that. I appreciate your creativity. Sometimes you color a little too far outside the lines, but we have innovative services in this state because we have had creative people like you building new services and thinking about things in ways that other people haven't thought about. And so I appreciate that about you. But most of all, you truly are a jack of all trades. And I've tried to have that come through in the plaque that I'm about to present to you. In recognition of 25 years of dedicated service to individuals and families through the ADRS, Vocational Rehabilitation, Blind and Deaf General Divisions, and the Facilities section, serving our community rehabilitation partners. Your passionate and devoted leadership made you a strong advocate. The contributions you made to your work as a member of ELT, your staff, the consumers, and the department will never be forgotten. In addition, your rehab family will miss your many other talents, like guitar playing, Christmas carol, Glisson's hot relish, your unique sense of humor, the sharing of random facts, your one-of-a-kind headgear at conferences, managed to challenge the process. On behalf of the Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services and for the thousands of Alabamians with disabilities who you have helped reach their maximum potential, thank you for the incredible legacy of compassionate leadership. Thank you, Curtis.
We just realized we're gonna be on social media without that.
Stay right there for 1 second. Curtis, your executive leadership team wanted to send you out a little something. And so that's in this part that we'll present to you. But is there anybody from ELT that wanted to say anything or?
I don't get to know you well enough. I've known you for years, but just didn't get to know you personally like I have in ELT. And I just appreciate your leadership and your far out personality. You're fun, and we're gonna miss your face, your smile, you're always positive, and I just appreciate everything you've done besides seeing what I miss you.
Thanks for being in band all those years, fairly.
Yeah, Curtis, we're gonna bring you back for Christmas caroling every year. And Curtis has already volunteered to be part of boards and advisory committees. And so we'll get him back. But Curtis, we love you, we appreciate you, and I'm gonna turn this program over to some other folks who will say nice things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
But Leslie wouldn't let us throw her a party.
Yeah.
So Leslie, ELT has something for you as well.
Good.
So I will turn it back over to Ash. Is that right? Okay.
Well, thank you for that, Commissioner. And the next up, from Alabama Institute of Deaf and Blind, the President, Dr. John Mashett. He has a presentation that he's going to make.
James. It's great to see everybody. Awesome. Great to have you, Mike. And it's great for us to be a part of this and of ADRS. You make us feel like family, and we are family. We appreciate being here. And Curtis, it's an honor. During a career, well done. But also, it's bittersweet to wish you a happy retirement. And you are going to be missed. What started as a partnership turned into a friendship and a relationship. And through that friendship relationship, you were the catalyst for developing and growing services that change lives. And I think we would all agree with that. You exemplify the fact that it really is all about relationships. And you prove the point that nice people can finish first. Your calm demeanor that, hey man, whenever Curtis would call, it would always start out, hey man, and then like the sky would fall. And then the conversation would end, okay man. Your demeanor it's the same, regardless of who you talk to, whether it's a senator or an intern. You just respect people. And you prove that great leaders can lead with quiet strength. And your musical and bingo playing ability are legendary. I think you cheat. But how the communities you serve know you is less about bingo and music and more about your passion and your respect and your commitment to people who are deaf-blind and deaf-blind. And you're just a humble person who would never brag about your influence nationally, but you affected countless people's lives in a positive way through your advocacy work, and you never once asked for recognition. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work alongside of you for so many years as we strengthen the ADRS partnership in a way that benefits so many people. And so I end by saying thank you, Curtis, for your friendship and for all you accomplished to make this world a better place for the people that we're all so blessed to serve. And so continue on to the next page, remembering that you do not stop laughing when you age, but you age when you stop laughing. Enjoy what you can in retirement, Curtis, that you couldn't enjoy before, and may God continue to bless you, my friend. And with that, I ask Jessica and Carla to come up. Now, if you're glad that I didn't have a whole lot to do with the gift course, you'd probably get an umbrella.
So Curtis, we had our students and staff members make this for you. And as folks have illustrated, you're a great musician. We tried our hand at being as creative as you, and the guitar is inscribed. And it says, build the plane as you fly. Mess up, start over, try. Emma Institute for Deaf and Blind, AIDB, honors our favorite pilot, philosopher, and composer, a forever friend, Curtis Glisson. What we've once enjoyed and deeply loved, we can never lose. For all that we love deeply becomes a part of us. Helen Keller. Would love for you to-
Y'all, and the only thing I want to add, I think Curtis is the only other person I know who likes to have fun while they're at work, just like me. So I'm going to miss him.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Masha and Jessica and Carl. That was great. So next up on the agenda, a man who needs no introduction, our former Assistant Commissioner, Mr. James Meyer.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you again. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I had to retire before a group in 2 years and 3 months. So but wow, Curtis, it's so good for us to be back together again. And what I'm gonna say just comes from a personal angle between 2 people that became co-workers and then 2 people that became best of friends. And I'm gonna start at the beginning, just take us on a little journey, if that's okay. Try not to be too. Curtis, you know, you and I, we met just, you know, passing by each other years ago, but we really met when I was a unit supervisor in Opelika. You came to Montgomery and become soldier specialist with Joanne. And I had just left from that division, but we hit it off and just started talking because we had a lot of things in common. And from there, I moved onto the state office and became a part of the quality assurance department under Jim 3. And you crossed that bridge on over and became a part of the quality assurance team with me on the Rita. And we just, that's where it all took off. And from there, yeah, I just remember all the things and all the times we had and all the things we did together, how we traveled the state together, going to all, checking all the good work that all the good people were doing. We never found a flaw in anything that they did. But I remember when we really became good friends because we went to Gaston, I think it was in the Gaston office, and we were working late. Everybody had left the office. I don't know if you remember this. Everybody had left the office, and we were there alone. And something about the alarm system. You remember that?
Yeah.
Y'all have to know, Curtis. When something spontaneous happened and it shouldn't have happened, and he don't know what's going on, that guy, he get all worked up. I don't know if y'all ever experienced that before, but he can get worked up. And the alarm went off, and I was sitting there just as cool, calm, and collected. But Curtis, he went off he started hollering at me. Like I was the cause of it. I said, Curtis, oh, man, chill out. Don't ever do that. Don't holler at me like that. But from that moment on, we really jailed because we had gotten that out of our system. But anyway, we went across the state and we went all across the state as, quality assurance specialists. And we did a lot with Jim 3, and they wanted us to do some things that had not happened in the agency before, like a new counselor boot camp. Yeah. We even did supervisor boot camp. And we created a new document, new counselor resource manual, a manual this thick. Nobody even know anything about that now because everything is paperless. But I think it's probably digital. Some good times. Did a lot of things together. And then Jim 3, did I mention supervisor retreat? I think I did. Yeah. Anyway, those were some good times. Those were some fun times. And Jim decided he would retire, and Rita decided she would retire, and we were fortunate enough to be selected and chosen to carry on as division heads, be with the blind deaf division and be with the young division. And man, we went all over the nation together. I was scared to fly on a plane. And Curtis, he was just like, he was just, he had no problems with it whatsoever. And Curtis would always come by and pick me up from my house early in the morning, about 5 o'clock. And we'd be rushing to catch that plane together. And I would have a sense of security. For some reason, as long as I was with Curtis on the plane. But I said, well, if I go, he going too. It was some good times, and we did a lot of things together. I thought I would just kind of capture some of those times together from the past. This is nothing that I can really read, but it's something that you just have to see. I was wondering, now, what in the world can I do? Well, let me say this. People began to know us like two peas in a pot. Felix and Oscar. Frick and Right. And just plain old James and Curtis. I mean, if you said one name, it always came with the other. People always say James and Curtis, or they always say Curtis and James. But it seemed like it always was mentioned and together. Worked really so well together. I taught you everything, right? Right. But I wanted to capture some of those moments on this plan. And I think it's something that I hope you enjoy. You remember I had you send me some pictures? Yeah. You didn't know what it was all about. Yeah, I was worried about that. But I'm kind of disappointed because when I retired, because we were so together and you couldn't do without me, I thought it wouldn't take 6 months before you would be retiring too, because I just can't do this no more without James. But man, you've gone 2 years and 3 months. If I'd known you were gonna go that long, I would stay here. But anyway, I wanted to catch some of those moments, man. If you come up here and just receive this from me as just one of your best friends.
Well, there's a picture at the top, which I think you may be from here. James and I we just showed up one day out of town. dressed exactly. We said, okay, that's it. We're definitely spending too much time.
But the caption up under that says, James and Curtis, identical brothers.
I mean, we're dressed just like, and this such dressed up as hippies, which should have been a big blow up for this thing.
And what's under that?
Freaking right. And then here's Oscar and Felix. I thought Felix was come before Oscar. Whatever. I always said I lose Felix on Oscar, the commissioner always says, oh, we know. Anyway, that's us in our uniforms, for the boot camp we created. This is the stuffed animals. They're upstairs right now in the Blundell Conference Room as a memorial to our time together. Because when I got promoted to assistant commissioner, James doesn't like to say it, but I got promoted 6 months before.
Yeah.
During that 6 months, he was having a hard
I
time.
really was, man. I really
Gave him, because I'm Auburn fan, a big stuffed tiger. So saying, here, just and put my old name tag on it and said, here, just hold this.
You don't know how many days, how many times I hugged that time.
When James retired, he gave me an elephant with his whole name tag on it, you know. And now they're sitting up there together right now. This is a picture of them. This is,
So what
Anyway.
what those words?
oh, the memories, rehab legends connected forever. Congratulations, Curtis, on your retirement from the.
Thank you, James. Appreciate that. And, I got to work with you for many years too. There's a few others here may attest, but Darius or Craig Aiken, I don't see him out there, but some of the most enjoyable times of my life have been watching you and Curtis argue over what restaurant we're gonna go. So next up, we have a few things to present, and I'm gonna need some help with this one, Denise and Tanya. Y'all are gonna have to kind of direct me on how this is gonna work.
He's the first person on the list.
I am the first person.
Okay.
Well, we've already presented this was presented to Curtis during our annual conference last Friday. This is from the Business Enterprise Program. And it's all of us signing it for you, which you've already received it once, but we'll give it to you again. And then this is from Blind and Deaf.
And this is quite a presentation here. And Tanya made this for you.
Looks just like some kind of.
She made it. It says, it's got a peace sign. Just to try to describe it here. Has a peace sign. It says Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services, blind, deaf. A tie-dye in the background, and it says, thank you for 24 plus years of Groovy service. So, this is from Blind and Deaf State Office.
This is the inspiration for the Peace Out retirement party.
This started all this, isn't it?
Your farewell tour.
You too, right?
Okay, thank you. Don't go too far. So next, Matt Haynes has something that he's going to present on behalf of our vision rehab therapists and orientation mobility specialists.
Yeah, I'm here to represent our VRTs, Noah Dan from Charlotte Marsh. Labor, who's our coordinator for VRTs, couldn't be here today to join me in doing this, but just to kind of, I can't help but echo what everyone's already said. Thank you for your openness to doing new things, especially with our crew of VRTs. We're an interesting group. We're fun to work with. In particular, doing things that you helped us establish, like Camp Savvy and dealing with all that stimulus money. I can't imagine what that was like. That's why a lot of creativity for you and Carol to come up with unique ways of doing that. We're still benefiting from that today. So we just have a little plaque that was designed by Bill Adams, 3D printed. And it was painted by Paige Dewberry, and it says here, Curtis Glisson, thank you for all that you have done for the blind and VI in the past 25 years. VRTs and no one else. Quote, Helen Keller, although we can use a little, together we can do so much. But thank you, Curtis. Very good job.
Tanya?
Or just the next.
Yeah, Tanya's award's a lot better than mine.
Yours is a classic.
Yeah. First, let me explain throughout the years. I mean, I've made awards before this for various people, especially when Rita became assistant commissioner. But then when Curtis took over, he wanted to do things differently. And he made up awards. He didn't want to try to have an award and then fit somebody in it. He said, let's look who's doing what they're doing in their job, and then let's create an award for that. So he started coming up with some little crazy stuff. We had some far out awards, the Jiminy Cricket, the Mount Everest Award, Abby Normal. And so for AIDB, and several of y'all may have these on your walls as I speak, the Joined at the Hip Award. And when he told me Joined at the Hip, because we're such a family, but just let me say this, because every time you tell, and do not Google Joined at the Hip, especially on a safety. Lots of fun awards, and we've probably made 70 or more throughout the years, I guess, for blind and deaf conferences at our partners at AIDB. So I felt like it was only fitting for my last award to be for Curtis. So the state officer got together and we talked about what could we give him that would be a more of a symbol of what he's been to us. And so he is getting the Groovy Guru Award. And so I found a little groovy guy that looks a little bit like Curtis on there. And it says, the Groovy Guru Award presented to Curtis Glisson for sharing your expertise, guidance, and wisdom to us throughout the years as we have provided services to youth and adults with vision and hearing loss in the state of Alabama. ADRS, Montgomery, Alabama, December 17, 2020.
Curtis, I just meant to say it's something that I've said to a number of people at things to crossing over into another realm of your life. You are about to become married. You are about to become married to a very exclusive club. And if you don't want to be there, you better speak now or forever hold your peace. Because become a member of the group, what, when, where, and how. That means, brother, you can do what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, how you want to do it, and who you want to do it with.
One more thing, Curtis. I know you kind of getting overwhelmed there with gifts, so I'm just going to point this out. Lenore Dillon, who you worked with for years, had a great relationship. Asked Dan's sister to do a caricature of you, a cartoon, basically. And there's a little bit of an inside joke there. Lenore really wanted you to have that, had it shipped all the way from California. And so Lenore is actually watching, listening through Zoom. So she's here with us, and she was very excited for you to have that. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lenore. This is hilarious. This is when I she remembers when I had an operation that was supposed to be a simple thing, it went correct, esophagus, and it almost killed it. And this cartoon, thank God I don't have to take antacid now.
Thank you, Lenore. Well, next up is, those that aren't as familiar with blind and deaf services may not know that generally when people with blind and deaf services retire, they get a song wrote about them by Jamie Glass. And many times those songs are performed or all the time they're performed by Jamie Glass, but many times Curtis helps him out and assists him. But you can't do that today because the song's for you. So somehow I got wrote to. We'll see how this goes.
Well, I've got to say, Curtis, I've noticed something. Everybody that's talked about spending time with you said something that's very true, is that you kind of become their best friend. And I experienced that as well. And all our doings and get-togethers and stuff. I will say that Curtis is kind of my conscience when I write songs. So Curtis could not be my conscience when I wrote this song. Oh, Lord.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. There's nothing to it. Ashley said, well, there's going to be some dignitaries there. The commissioner is going to be there. Keep it PG. So I've tried to keep it PG. Time coming up with this, and Ashley gave me a list of all the things you've accomplished and everything. I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive, but it's not funny. So I thought, yeah, a man's accomplishments do mean something, but I think more so the failures he went through can say more about him because they helped him to make those accomplishments later on. So the name of this song is You Made a Mistake. You'll recognize the tune. Looking back on your career now, all the many things you've done, from tending bar to teaching dancing, were some of the memorable ones. Yes, you've had many jobs now. You worked with the deaf and blind. Cupid, you must have been out of your mind. You made a mistake. What were you thinking? You must have been drinking. That's not a job you should take. Job you should take. At least this time you can wear your tickets. It's totally your call, but I think you're too tall. You made a mistake. You made a mistake. You are a man much the wiser, and you have the gray hair to show. You have advice for those who are dating. If they don't want things to go wrong, it's always best cats. You made a mistake. Mistake. You thought you were just sitting, but you're also emitting. Your fluid intake. And without you knowing, into your pants you were flowing. There's no way to explain. You never saw her again. You made a mistake. We know that when you started, you were living in Mobile. You had bowling and silent dinners, but Mardi Gras was your biggest thrill. Every year you were so excited, 'cause on the float you would always ride, and the crowd would always be cheering, except for when you made them run and hide. You made a mistake. I can't understand who came up with the plan to throw Claxton through cakes. You should have known that it is true. You throw a fruit cake, it comes back to you. So next time be wise, stick to beads and moon pies. You made a mistake. You're a man of many talents. Look at all the things you play, like guitar and even percussion, of which you have a vast array. And when you were much younger, you learned to play the trombone. But the things you did at that camp, I can put that in this song. You made a mistake. Made a mistake. A huge mistake. It goes without things you strong and can shake. You got your balance, no in. You're now part of the mighty wind. But since we don't get paid, your day job you should stay. You made a mistake. Everybody knows that old saying, time flies when you're having fun. Seems like you just get started and then your work is done. Some may ask what you will do now. Well, I can say you'll be busy. You'll need time to find your coffee mug now and write a retirement song for me. You made a mistake. Made a mistake. A huge mistake. Big mistake. You know when you leave us. Oh, how that will grieve us. Our heart's gonna break. Heart's gonna break. The same when you are gone. We're gonna be sad. Write that in your notepad. But it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. Not a mistake. Not a mistake. Had quite a career, almost 25 years, but work with the state. Work with the state. We might try and even stop, but we're so glad that you have this job. But now you're retiring, guess that means we're hiring. Not a mistake.
All right. And I was gonna sing.
think you were supposed to be shaking that thing while you.
No. Thank you, Jamie. Great, it's pretty much PG. So
Yes.
thanks. Well, we're coming close to the end, but Michael, did you want to come up and say a few things before we get to Curtis?
Well, I feel like y'all said most everything, I want to say, my biggest, thing is just thanking all of y'all for having, had him for this long. But now the more I'm hearing all y'all, I'm realizing, he's as big a part of y'all's life as he, has been for mine. And, yeah, that's amazing. I'm really happy to be here and happy to hear all this great stuff that he was able to accomplish, other than just raising me, and I'm, amazing too. So. Yeah, that's once again, thank you for all you've done for me, and thank you for what you're doing for all these amazing people and the people that y'all do y'all's job for. So, that's about it. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Michael. And we are doing pretty good on time. I know we got started just a little bit late. So we have just a few extra minutes. Does anybody want to come up and say a few things before we turn it over to Curtis for the last word? We good? Well, Curtis, the last thing on the agenda is remarks from Curtis, so it's time for you to come on up.
I was taking notes during the whole thing. Which is the only complaint I have about this shirt, Tanya. No pocket. I mean, having to go the whole day with no pen and pad. I haven't been able to perform the essential functions of my job. But anyway, so I usually have whatever I'm going to say on a little bit of this, but today is very big. But just because it's big, it doesn't mean it's going to be that much longer. It's going to be very brief. Just a little larger, because I know if I get teary-eyed or something, the print's a little larger. But anyway, oh my God, the pressure. Last words. Words just, I can't even put into words how much all of this means to me, just everything you guys have done. And just all the time with all of you anyway. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. Maybe, but I won't. Gosh, Ashley, Tanya, Denise, Deborah, Commissioner, all of you guys, I mean, I just appreciate everything you did here. It's just awesome. All of y'all are awesome. I mean, of course, I'm not so really surprised. Anytime this group does anything, it's the whole enchilada every time. And this is just no different. But, I mean, everybody's, the department is awesome. I mean, if anybody that's been working around in a job that lets them get to see the national scene and compare Alabama to the national scene, I mean, it's just so clear that Alabama and how they serve people with disabilities is just one of the best in the nation. Whether it's, things like the seamless services and how we serve all ages and we're one department, the way we're of somebody that knows something about what we do, the way we develop our own leadership from within, and the number of outcomes that we have. I mean, it's just amazing. And so I'm just really proud to have been a part of all of that, all these years. But I'm just going to miss all of y'all so much. I don't know if you've noticed this. I've been saying this around the state, but there's something about this field, this department, that attracts really good people. I don't know what it is. I think it has something to do with the fact that it attracts people that have a heart for service to others. And I think sometimes that also means service to each other too. And that's part of why we get so close to each other. And that's what makes it so hard to leave. I'm already experiencing the little lump in my chest I'm gonna feel when I walk away for the last time and get used to not seeing you guys' faces. But I may mention it already. So far, I've got the annual Christmas band and the ADRS tomato contest. Really high level stuff. You know? So I'm gonna get you in on the same stuff, James. Jamie, thanks for the song, I think. That's what everybody always said after the song. But you finally go statewide, and I didn't even get to play. I know. But if there's also a movie that Jamie made that is even more humiliating. It's going wild all over. So if you haven't seen it, just look for it. It's Paul Curtis. What's the name of it? The documentary. Yeah. Okay. James, here we are, guys. Reunited. It feels so good. With James, during the 6 months, you know, like, because remember, I was 6 months. Assistant commissioner, and we got reunited. He actually sang that song in council. That's been just a story that follows us around. I was going to ask you to indoctrinate me into the club because you hadn't done it, so I'm glad you did that. But anyway, Michael, I'm glad you're here. So much appreciate that. My daughter and 2 grandchildren are in Germany, moving back to Birmingham in March. So that'll be something to do. Of course, my 95-year-old, I think I've said some of this a while ago, but it really means a lot to me, Michael, for you to come from Atlanta and come be here with us today. You remind me so much of myself at your age, and I really look like you too. If you look for one with a gray van down here, it's amazing. But all the past you've been trying in your youth, to where am I going to go? What am I going to do? The thing I always noticed about you is every you're doing it, and it gets a little bit better every time. So I'm really proud of you, but you're more than just a son. You're one of my best friends. So anyway, I guess it's about time for me to move on. I'm going to be 65 in January. I don't know where the time has flown or how in the world I'm that old. But a good friend of mine, friends are so supportive. One good friend of mine said, don't worry, Curtis, with today's medical advances, I hear that 65 is a new 64. But anyway, I don't want to miss this last opportunity just to thank you guys for everything that you have done, and I know you're going to continue to do for people with disabilities. You know, we make a difference in this world. The world we have, and the partners like AIDB, John, Jessica, Carla, y'all are just such special friends. It's been, we just think of so many things we've done together. And it's been great, John, the way we kind of came up through the ranks. And, you know, when I was in Ashley's job and you were in Jessica's job, and we had to work together a lot, but then it's helped so much now in these positions, and just say whatever we on our mind, you know. And I just feel like our partnership's stronger than it's ever been. And so anyway.
But you didn't get me a stuffed animal.
You weren't as close as we were.
But anyway, the meaning of life is to live life with meaning. And if you've worked at the Department of Rehab or been in this field, it's just been an honor and a privilege and a joy to be associated with all of you. And I'm not gonna say goodbye, it's too permanent. And I'm just gonna say, I'll see you guys down the road somewhere. And that's it. Peace out.
Well, that concludes the reception. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to everyone that joined us virtually. Y'all have a great weekend.